and we are discussing about the UI of the application. And the most importantly, yesterday we discussed the offerings, and under the offerings we discussed about offering features, and then offering content guide, and then offering setup task list also we discussed yesterday. Okay, and I told you the difference between all offerings and then subscribed offerings. Okay, and also one more important is under each and every offering, what we are actually conferring, that we can verify from here. Look at here under procurement suite, under procurement offering. Suppose if I go to actions and if I click on the change configuration, and look at here, what we are actually implementing. What we are actually implementing. It is not that if you purchase procurement suite, you have to implement all the modules. I don't want to implement supplier portal. Just uncheck this checkbox. I don't want to implement sourcing. Uncheck this checkbox. I don't want to implement procurement contracts. Uncheck. Okay. And if you are implementing, what is the status of it? Whether the implementation is completed, we can actually change the status. Let's take an example in supplier invoice processing or and the supplier portal. Look at here, it shows that it's not started. We have to come here and manually update this. We have to come here and manually update this. It'll not automatically update it. Okay, you can change the status to in progress, or you can change the status to implemented. Okay.
Krishna, what is the state? This implemented means that we can do the access.
We completed. Completed. We are using it. We are using it.
And in process means
we are in the process of configuring this module.
So that means that till when it is kept in progress, so the user is not able to see the or access the supplier portal, right?
No, it's not like that. It will not control you anything. Basically, okay. It shows us what we are actually implementing under this offering. That's it. What is the stage of the offering? That's it. It will not stop. I mean, even though it is in the not started stage, still you can go and perform the transactions in the supplier portal.
Okay.
And so not only for procurement, and if we go to the other offerings also, suppose to go back to the previous page, again I'm selecting go to offering, and you can select the other offerings. Let me just tell you any other best example. Okay, and in the order management, are you using pricing or not? Yes, yes, we are using. If you are using pricing, then enable this checkbox. If you are not using, disable this checkbox. Okay, and then we can also change the status from not started to implemented. Okay, and always it's actually optional. This is optional, but it's better to change the statuses of these offerings, because if you don't update these offerings, then there is a chance that we might get some kind of issues in the application. And I can tell you an example. When creating the supplier, we can also create a supplier user. We can also create a supplier user in the supplier contact page. Okay, and there is a section called the create user section that is not actually displaying. Okay, when I researched for the solution that I found is this sourcing module. It is not in the implemented status. The sourcing module is not in the implemented status. That's why we are unable to see create user section in the supplier portal in the contact page. Okay, so there are chances that there may be a possibility that we can see few errors if you are not following this process. Okay, and I was actually checking all the configurations related to the supplier, but this sort of idea we don't come into our mind. It's not going to come into our mind. Okay, that's why it's always better to follow this process. But but it is not mandatory. But to avoid the issues, such kind of issues, it's better to update the implemented status and from not started to in progress or implemented. Okay.
Hey Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So under order management was only pricing was the only offering?
No. Yes, yes. Order management only pricing is the offering, but we have orchestration, we have GOP.
We
That
don't have
GOP
shipping,
it will come under
shipping
supply
execution under
chain.
it.
Hello.
You don't have shipping under it? Shipping execution?
Shipping is a separate. It will take as a separate module. Shipping. Picking comes under shipping. The shipping itself it will take as a separate module. Okay. I'll discuss that in the next sessions.
Okay.
Okay. So if we are discussing all this, then it will
Hello,
be the session will
Krishna.
be the questions itself. Okay. You cannot move forward. If you have any questions on the current, you can ask me.
Yeah, Krishna.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, suppose if we miss any mandatory steps before releasing it to the client, we get any, we'll understand that we missed anything, or later only we'll understand any mandatory step is missed.
So basically, before we release the instance to the client, of course, we have to do the business transactions, nothing but the testing. When you are doing the business transactions itself, you'll understand that everything working properly or not, the configurations and all. Okay.
Okay, well, in configuration, everything we put non-started first, then we will only change it to in progress or implemented.
Yes, yes. If you don't change that, obviously, when you're doing a transactions or in the UAT, you'll face issues.
Okay, thank you.
You'll face issues. Okay. And so let me answer that question also. I think I can answer that by showing another user login. Let me just show you that also. The session is recording. If you have any general questions, please ask me at the end of the session. After the recording is passed. I just unshared the screen. I'll share back. Not only in Fusion applications, the picking and shipping, it will come under the shipping module. In EBS also. And if you look at here, so this is the place where we create orders and we do the shipping from under the warehouse operations. Look at here, the shipping. Okay. So I would say normally we do picking and shipping from the order management module only, but if you talk about exactly, it is separated. Picking and shipping, it will separate as a shipping module. Even though if you can remember in EBS, when we are creating a document set for pick release and document set for ship confirm, we are going to select the application as shipping. We're going to select the application as shipping. So I would say picking and shipping is a separate, we should treat it as a separate module as a shipping. Okay. From the order management, we'll just do the order entry and order booking. We'll just do the order entry and order booking. That is actually exactly separated in Fusion applications. So from here, we can only do the order creation. From here only we can do the order creation and order booking. And after that, the picking, we should do it from here. Let me just show you. From the order management, look at here. We can only create the order. But after creating the order, after booking the order, we should do picking and shipping from the separate place. So here we are entering the order and we are booking the order. And if I click on the warehouse operations, I have to do the picking. Look at here, pick slip, pick wave, and then shipping. shipping from here. Okay.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Thank you. And yeah, I'll just set up end maintenance. And yeah, and let me show you now the project creation. Okay, I'll show you the project creation. And before creating the project also, we can create a user. I think it's better to create a user before creating the project. Okay, and I'll show you the user creation now. And to create user, you should have a role called IT security manager. Okay, and I'll tell you the difference between EBS and Fusion in the next session. Exactly how the responsibility is replaced with the role. How the responsibility is replaced with the role, I'll explain in the tomorrow session. Okay, and we don't have a role responsibility concept here. We have a roles concept here. We have a roles concept here, and most of the people say that this role concept is a new feature in Fusion applications. It is wrong. This role-based access, it is also available in R12. It is also available in EBS. In EBS also it is available. RE-based, role-based access control. It is also there in EBS also. If you want, you can actually implement role-based access instead of responsibility-based access. Okay, it's not a new feature in Fusion applications. Okay, and to create, in EBS, to create users or to assign responsibilities and all, we need sysadmin responsibility. We need sysadmin responsibility. Okay, so here we need IT security manager role. We need IT security manager role to create users and to assign roles to the user. But the user management, we do it if you have IT security manager role. Okay, and that too we do it from the security console, and that too we do it from the security console from here. Okay, we should go to the navigator. We should go to the navigator. From the navigator, you should click on the security console. And this guy is having IT security manager role. That's why this guy can see security console in the navigator. In the navigator, only system administrator is going to have the security console. Security console. Okay, and this is the security console page, and this is the user creation, and this is the roles. This is about the roles. Suppose if I click on the users icon, and if I type the same user, exactly the same user, I can see here. I'm just typing BJ, and if I click on this user login, this user is having a role called IT security manager role. Look at here. IT security manager role. This is nothing but a sysadmin in EBS, like a sysadmin in EBS. IT security manager role. Okay. So from security console, we create users. Okay. And initially the first 5 sessions I'm going to be really slow, and later I can increase my pace. And to create users, you should click on add user account. To click on add, you should click on the add user account, and here we should fill the details like the first name, last name, and then email ID. And here we should add the roles. Okay, and I need one email address because all my email address I have already used while creating the user accounts, and the email address should be unique because system is going to email the username and password to that email address. That should be unique. I'm just thinking, what is the email ID that I can give here? Can you give me a second? I'll just check my email IDs. Or is it I need to create a email account now? Okay, it'll take some time.
Is it okay if you can use any one of us?
No. Otherwise, I should have asked you, right? Thank you. Okay, and I'll enter the email. This is the email I'm using, techleadsite4@gmail.com for this user, and enter the, is it? It's already used. Okay, I think it's already used. Yeah, I'll use yes, and then username. I'm also thinking what is the prefix that we can use for our entire project, the prefix, because we create user with the prefix and we do all the configurations with that prefix itself. Any suggestions? Prefix which is with any two-digit, like suppose if you take GE, I'll take GE itself. I think that's okay. Let's take, okay. But GE, I think most of the consultants are already creating a project with GE. We need some unique name. Any guess? Any help? Any clients that you worked?
You can put ATT, AT&T.
AT&T. 80 might be others may have created, which is very popular, right? Like GE. I'll do one thing. I'll just take my client list and I'll use one prefix.
AEPL you can take. Krishna, AEPL also you can take, right?
Which one?
AEPL.
A?
AEPL.
Okay. Okay, I got one name. Okay, I'll use that. It's my client name only. HPP Electronics. HPP Krishna. Okay. The username also I would like to create with the with the name. It's your call basically. You use email ID as a username or the name also as a username. And I'm going to enter the password. I'm going to enter the password and click on add the roles. Click on add the roles. I'm adding the role like a responsibility. I'm adding a role. The basic role required for an employee for an account is, the basic role for an account is an employee role. is an employee role. Okay, and what exactly comes with the employee role? Okay, using, if you assign an employee role so that this user is able to run any request, nothing but is able to run any program or any report. Okay, nothing but you can say in EBS we submit a new request, right? That screen access this user is going to get. Okay, using an employee role. And if you see here, there are two employee roles are there with the same name, but the code is different. Okay, and if you look at the code of this employee, PR employee abstract, and whereas this one starts with Aura, PR employee abstract. Okay, and before R12, I mean before release 12 onwards, suppose if I take a role called procurement manager role, look at here, these roles are related to procurement, right? That's what is starting with PO. Starts with PO. Okay, and all the order management roles are, let me take order management. All the order management role starts with, look at here, do distributor order orchestration. Even the tables also start with the do only. Okay, it won't start with OE header sol. It starts with do header sol, then do line sol. It will start with do header sol and do line sol. Okay, and the code itself, it will talk about whether that is related to which module. Okay, and right now I'm going to enter the employee role. I'm going to enter the employee role now, and you can ask me what is the difference between these two roles. Okay, and the roles that are starting with Aura, they are the new roles. Which is released recently from R12 onwards, from release 12 onwards. The roles which are starting with other than Aura, they are the old roles. Other than Aura, they are the old roles. Okay, don't use the old roles. Please use the latest roles which starts with Aura. All the roles, not only this role, even if you take order management roles and purchasing roles, every role is going to start with Aura. You should take the latest roles which starts with Aura. Click on add to the role membership. That's it. Click on OK. Then click on, and then click on done. And then click on done. Okay. So this is how we create a user account and we add roles to the users. And I can see one concern here. We don't set up an end date for a user account. We cannot, suppose let's take a contract employee or creating. You cannot keep a end date after 6 months or something like that. There is no end date feature here. We cannot keep an end date. Okay. Any questions in the screen?
Krishna, what is this locked? Here we can see active and locked.
This user is active, and then if you lock means the user is inactive. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. So instead of giving an end date, it is given here locked.
Yes, locked. We have to come here and manually update the account.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then we just created an account, right? I'll just save this record, and I'll log in with this user. Okay, click on save and close, and immediately system will also send an email to this email address. Okay, and normally in EBS, after creating an account, we have to manually send an email using an Outlook or outside of the application saying that this is the production URL and this is the username and this is the password. But now it is not needed now. Automatically system will send an application URL, username and password. Okay. Now I'll just log into that user. I need one browser to use. I'm using another browser to log into that account, the account which I created. I just unshared the screen. And I'm sharing the screen back to you. And this is the login page. The user that we created is HBB Krishna. And the password I'm entering. And then click on sign in. Click on sign in. Am I typing wrong password? I think I'm typing wrong password. Let me reset the password. Account itself it is not coming. Yeah. Oh, well, the login is also, I think it's created with email ID. I think that's it, and it's not accepting us to use the, yeah, username is created with the email address itself. I'll use this email address. Okay. And I just given only employee role. That's it. I'm not given anything. So this is how it looks. As an employee, I can create requisitions. If I need anything, I can create a requisition like a laptop or a laptop charger or a stationery or anything. I can create a requisitions as an employee. Okay. And also from the navigator, we'll also find one more item which is called as a schedule process. Schedule process is nothing but this is a request screen, I would say. Okay. From here, this user can go here and can run the reports, can run the programs with the employee role. This comes with the employee role.
Sorry to interrupt.
It's okay.
See, I am just confused, right? Just make me clear on this. See, in what happens earlier in R12, what we used to create, first we used to create like a user ID, then we used to create employee name, then we used to link that user to that employee, correct? In R12.
Yes.
Hello. So
Yes. Yes.
the same thing, that role in this linking that user to employee, the role employee comes here.
Ashish, there is no confusion in EBS also. If you if you are creating a user, it's not mandatory that you have to assign an employee. It's not mandatory. Okay, when you're doing the configurations, you can still use a user account which is not having an employee associated with it.
Yes, I
But
can
when doing the transactions, you need an employee to be associated to the user account.
user. The same thing here.
Yes. That is nothing but
Okay.
business user.
Business user. Okay.
An implementation user can be created without an employee name.
Yes. That is
Yes.
that.
I
No,
just
that
created
I.
an okay. Ashish, right? This is.
Yes.
Yeah, Ashish. I just created an implementation user. I have not created a business user. In coming sessions, I'll create a business user. Okay. The business creation, user creation is different. Is different in Fusion applications. We don't create from security console. We create from a different place. Okay. As of now, I just created an implementation user. Okay. Now this user is only able to do the configurations. This user is not able to do the business transactions since this user is not an employee. Okay. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as of now, this user is having only employee role. This user is having employee role. With the employee role, this user is able to run the programs. Either this is user able to run any job or job set, nothing but the request set from the drop down list. The programs can be selected from here. Look
So
at here.
okay, in R12 it was like that, the implementation user and business user.
In R12,
R12 also the same concept, but in R12 whenever we used to create the user, we used to give for any configuration also we used to give an employee associate to the employee, right?
yeah. Any report that we can select from here and we can run. Let me just take a report for LDAP or else. Nothing is coming up.
Krishna, sorry to interrupt, Krishna.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, Krishna, this is an implementer role. Fine, I got it. I understand. So, example, if it's a manager, then he also should be an implementer role only. Or see, role based have different roles. I understand. But now, see, he will not be able to perform any transaction. Also, let's say a manager will not be doing a transaction. So, what role does he come under then?
See, I'm not. See, first of all, we have to configure a project. After configuring a project,
Correct.
then we talk about employees, subordinates, supervisors, managers, and all. While doing the transactions, we'll talk about that. Okay. My first
Correct.
intention is to create a project and do the configurations. Okay.
No, for
That's why.
example, even right. Sorry, yeah, sorry to interrupt. Even a project has to be done. See, the project first starts with a manager, right? I mean, directly it will not come to an associate who does and directly sits or do a configuration setups and
You
all.
have
So
to allow me
initially,
some time to explain that. Because while
okay, fine.
creating the project, I'm going to assign a manager to the project. You're talking about project manager, right?
No, see, who does this basic setup? See, for an example, if you implement a role, see, generally what happens is when say let's agree in our EBS, see, sysadmin guys, they actually give us an instance and then probably whatever we have a sysadmin role and all. So, are
Yeah.
you comparing that with this? I mean, this is something like that.
No. No. I can also, right now we created one user, right? We created
Correct.
one user, right?
Correct.
Now what we can do is, I just assigned only employee role. And I opened this user account to explain you exactly what comes with the employee role. Later, I'll add
Okay.
IT security manager role also to this user account, so that this user will become a sysadministrator to create user accounts for the other consultants.
Okay. Yeah, Krishna, got it.
That I'm
Thanks.
able to explain. I just given only employee role, because with the only employee role, what is going to come exactly? I can also immediately assign IT security manager. But if I assign IT security manager, you will not exactly understand what is coming with employee role and what is coming with the IT security manager role. One by one, I would like to assign the roles and I want to tell you the exact differences.
Okay, Krishna, thanks. Yeah, I got it. Okay, go ahead.
With the employee role, the user is able to get the schedule process icon from the navigator. If you go to the navigator, from the navigator to see this item in this user login, this user should have a role called employee role. Look at here. Now this user is not able to see the security console. Is not able to see the security console item here, because this user is not having IT security manager role. That's why this user is not able to see security console item in the navigator list. Okay. So if this user is having an employee role, this user is able to run the programs from the schedule new process from here. Okay. So one by one, I would like to explain you the roles. So since this is a second class, there might be multiple questions in your mind. Everything will get clarified after a few days. Everything cannot be explained in a one class. Please do understand me. Okay. And let me just take video ready. What is this? This user is not having full access, right? That's why we are not getting all the programs, all the reports. That list. Okay, something called, let me just take this one, some import supplier bank account. This is a program, and it will ask us to enter the parameters in the next page. It will ask us to enter the parameters if it is having anything, and right now it's not having any parameters, and there is one parameter and which is not displaying properly. That's okay. And after selecting the program, you have to enter the parameters here, and you should submit the program. And if you wanted to schedule the program from the advanced button, the program can be scheduled. Okay, let me just take another program. It's not allowing me. Just trying with multiple programs because this user is not having any access. Okay, and you may click on the advanced button, and from the advanced button we can actually schedule the programs. Look at here. Okay, so as soon as you wanted to run the program, or you wanted to schedule this program to run for every 15 minutes or 5 minutes, or the frequency that can be selected here on, look at here, once, or for every hour, or daily basis, weekly, monthly basis. Okay, we can actually schedule the frequency here. If you wanted to run on every 1 hour, you can select a hourly basis frequency, and then look at here for every 1 hour, and this is the start date of the schedule, and this is the end date of the schedule. This is the end date of the schedule. Now this is by default, it is under UTC time zone, and we can customize our timing also. Okay, and as soon as once this program is completed, if you want any notification to be sent to any email address, we can select that. This is, I would say, a new feature in Fusion applications. Whereas in case of EBS, this we can achieve using an alert. This we can achieve using an alert by writing an alert. Okay, and you can actually enter the recipient name, and then you can select on success you want to send a notification, or on warning, or on error. If you can also select all. Okay, and you can enter the recipient email address. Okay, after completion of the program, if the program is errored out or if it is completed, it will just send a mail to the. It's always better to enter instead of your individual employee name, you can enter the IT team distribution list here. IT team distribution list email ID. It's better to enter that, so that if the program is getting errored out, they'll react on that programs. Okay, on that reports. Any questions in this page? Okay, so with the employee role, this user is able to run the reports, and nothing but the schedule process is going to be displayed with the employee role. Now I'm going to assign IT security manager role to this employee. Now I would like to make this employee as a sysadmin. Okay, now click on add the roles. Click on add the roles, and then I'm going to select IT security manager role. IT security manager role, and look at here. I'm adding this role, and that's good that we have only one role name which starts with Aura. Okay, and add that role. Add that role to the user, and then click on done. Now we are making this user as a sysadmin, nothing but IT security manager. Okay, now I'm going to have this. I'm going to create users from this account. Only this user is going to have IT security manager. Okay, with the other accounts, what I'm going to create, that accounts is not going to have a IT security manager. Okay, and then click on save and close. I think it might take some refresh time. Sometimes it appears immediately, the change. Sometimes it will take 5 to 10 minutes also. that is uncontrollable. We cannot able to control that. We just need to wait till that time. Yeah, it's good that we got this item immediately. Okay, security console. Look at here, the security console. That means this user is a sysadmin. This user is a sysadmin. Now we can create our project consultants, our implementation consultants from this user account. From this user account. Okay. Any questions, team?
Hello, Krishna.
Yeah.
Without employee role, directly I can assign IT manager role. Once
Yes,
user
yes,
is
you can assign any role. It's not mandatory that you have to follow the sequence. You can assign any role, but I'm talking about the starting from the basic rules.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, and you can ask me one question. You can ask me one question. When you get a license from Oracle, what is the first account that is created by Oracle? What is the first, if you get a license, you'll get a URL, but we need a username and password to enter, right? Then only we can allow to enter into the application and we can create our own accounts. You can ask me what is that account? That account is nothing but FAA admin. That is the account created by or given by Oracle. This is the account given by Oracle when you actually get a license from them. So once you log into this account, from this account we can create our own users to access the application. Okay. Any questions, team? Now I would like to take your questions. I'm stopping the recording. Have any general questions also? Please ask me now.